My point was I was trying to make, I wanted to let Josh hear this. He said something about traveling and whatnot, and he keep bringing up Neil deGrasse Tyson. And also people forget that he also mentions that the Earth spins in different speeds. The fastest speed is at the equator, which is 1,090 miles per hour, and it slows down the closer you get to the poles. So my argument is, wouldn't you feel that difference? Now, people always try to debate me with, oh, it's like being in a car with the windows up. You won't feel the motion or the spin of the earth. But I beg to differ because if you change speed, your senses are built to feel different motions. Anywhere you go, I don't care if you're in the sky, in a plane, or whatever the case may be. I've been in a plane before, twice actually. Like you guys said, the horizon stays at eye level. And you can feel the plane decelerate and accelerate. And especially when it hit wind, it starts to wobble and whatever the case may be. But that was my argument, and it's been bothering me a while. And I wanted to know what you think about that, Sanchez, because I know you traveled a lot too.
You make a very good point. I'm going to let Josh take a shot at it too. He brought up the idea of different stars on different parts of the so-called globe. And you came back with an argument that I think is very necessary, because if he's using the stars to prove two ends of a globe, then the point you make, it kind of cancels that out. Because if you're going to still say that it's two parts and we're on a globe, yes, we got to make the gravity argument. At the middle would be what we call centrifugal force. And I would like to hear Josh explain that, because explain to us how when you spin a ball, you stick to it instead of fly off of it. Because when I was little, I grew up in Alabama, Josh, and there's a space center in Huntsville. I've been there 2 times, and it was awesome going there when you're little. And I remember this little device here called a Gravitron, where they're explaining to you how gravity works based on them spinning and it pulling you down. Well, if we're stuck to the earth based on it being spun, why don't we fly off of it? Because one thing about this Gravitron, it's an enclosed system. Meaning if you take that wall away, those kids will fly off of that thing. They'll fly off. So like if you spin a bucket of water, the water will stick to the back of the bucket. But if you remove the back of that bucket, the water will fly out. So what's stopping us from flying off of the earth? You can't say gravity, if it's spinning, it should, make us fly off. Like, I want to understand this, because if you spin something, I think you should fly off like a merry-go-round. This was going to answer what the brother just said about the centrifugal force. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, look, I'll go ahead, but obviously the answer is gravity, but that's the answer. Gravity sticks us to the earth. I'd like to go back to the horizon rising to eye level thing.
No, hold on. We will.
No, sure.
But hold on.
Okay,
wait. Hold on. Wait. Stop.
Gravity.
Stop. You gave your answer. You can't just say gravity and think we're going to run back to an argument you want us to go to, because we don't like circular arguments. We are making the same argument. You want to talk about the stars. What Travail just said took us off of the stars and start arguing about this curvature that you said exists. He brought up centrifugal force. It's relevant to the different stars as well, because your argument about the different stars, it doesn't prove or disprove flat or globe Earth. You're trying to use it to say that we live on a sphere because we see 2 different skies. And we've been going in a circle with that argument for like the past 30, 40 minutes. And I think what Travail did was get us closer to a conclusion, because he said, hey guys, stop looking at the stars and get back to the real argument. Flat Earth, globe Earth, the ground we walk on. If you're trying to prove we on a globe, stop using the stars, because we've just wasted 30 minutes. Let's use what Travail just said, because it's still relevant to it. Centrifugal force. If we're on a globe, we should be able to talk about centrifugal force without you just being able to say gravity, and that's a magic word that answers it all. That don't explain my question. And I'm pretty sure my panelists, they're not satisfied with that answer either. So we're going to give you another shot at it.
Okay, just to, sorry about that. I wasn't talking about stars. I wasn't bringing them up. I don't think you guys understand that, so I don't want to talk about that anymore. Gravity is why we stick to the Earth, and the Earth is spinning very kind of slowly. Really is. It spins once per day. That's how slowly the Earth goes.
I have to stop you when you say certain stuff. Exactly how fast is the Earth spinning? We need to be specific. Now, where do you get slow from?
He makes no sense. Relatively to other planets, we would be turning slow, but just because we turn once per day, that's not because we're turning slow. That's because of the size of the Earth. And not to mention, there's two things that make gravity: mass and spin. Now, if the globe is spinning, and that's the reason why it has gravity, according also with its mass, that still doesn't explain centrifugal force. The Earth is spinning at about 1,000 miles per hour, and going that fast, we shouldn't be able to stick to it. That shouldn't even make gravity. That shouldn't even be how gravity is produced. We should be spinning off of it because of the centrifugal force. Like if you're holding on to a carousel and that thing starts spinning super fast, eventually you're gonna lose your grip and shoot out because it's spinning so fast. It ain't causing its own gravity.
Well, there's no way that you can compare the two of a gravitron that's spinning like hundreds of times a second or something like that to the Earth, which is spinning so slowly. You can't compare those two things.
When you said we can't compare the two, we didn't compare the two. This is at NASA Space Center right here. NASA compared them. They said you can get on this machine to simulate how the Earth works, and we're debunking this shit. And now you're saying that, and you're saying, well, you can't compare the two. Well, we didn't. This is at NASA Science Center. NASA made this goofy shit. Don't blame it on us.
Flat
Yeah,
out.
Oh, hang out. But this is what I was saying, is the way that it's a wonderful thing for you guys to all pick on, because no one understands gravity. We see the effects of it all, but no one can actually tell you how it works.
You know what? Yes, they can, though. You got to stop, brother. You got to stop doing that. You make claims on
your statements, man.
yeah, like brother, you can't come on a show that's live and blatantly lie to all of us adults. Your scientists get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to explain this shit, and now you're gonna look in their face and tell them, well, no one can really do it. So what the fuck are they doing with our tax money, man? If they got some shit up there teaching us in the books and explaining some shit that can't be explained. You don't make sense, brother, and you've not been consistent not one time. You've done a horrible job, and I'm not trying to pick on you. It's not about picking on nobody. You need to stop defending things that you can't defend. That's the problem. And when you start defending them and you find out you can't defend them, you're not going to stop us from attacking them. You need to get out of the way of that which is being attacked if you don't want to defend it and can't defend it. That's all. It's that simple, man. You need to go research on it. And your argument was we can't compare the two. That right there was a no-no, because like I said, the people who taught you about this globe compared the two, and when they did it, they made a mistake because they didn't want us to question it. It was indoctrination. All of the kids you see on this picture, brother, they're not questioning that stuff. They're just having fun. And they're not going to question it till they get old enough, and they're going to make the same remarks you make. They're going to try to make it make sense, but that's called cognitive dissonance. The best thing to do, hear the arguments we're making, see the fact that you can't debunk them, you can't argue against them, you can only make yourself look more and more crazy, and then go back to the drawing board and see what made us become flat earthers, because we was doing like you doing on panels, trying to debunk something that's non-debunkable, and we realized, you know what, it's easier to just tell the truth because that don't have to be defended. See how you had to change your mind so many times tonight? You're not consistent because what you believe in is not consistent.
Yeah, so look, just as a quick rough draft, I love a good conspiracy. I'm in a heap of them. I think there's a lot of funny stuff going on. And I think flat Earth is a really good starting point for looking into things, is to try and figure out how it all works. But it's stuff like the stars that you just can't reconcile on any other model except a sphere. But then move on, find the next conspiracy.
You know what, brother? You sound like a car salesman. Like, car salesman ain't gonna give you no facts. He's just trying to sell you a car. He don't care if it run good. He don't care if it break down on you. He just trying to sell you a fucking car. Like, and I know this game. And I'm gonna tell you, man, stay off of panels, Josh. You're not ready for this yet. You really can.
Okay,
hold on, wait a minute. Let me finish talking like I let you finish talking. When I just gave you the mic, when it was your turn to come with some science, you started crying like a baby and trying to sell us a car. Nobody here is globalist, man. You're here to convert a whole panel and chat room full of flat earthers, and your only argument is to keep repeating what you think in your opinion. Don't you know what made us flat earthers is facts, truth, the arguments that was presented today that you still haven't debunked? When you had a chance to debunk them, you didn't say nothing about them. You just said, well, you know, the globe is right because, like I said, the stars, you know, is what can't work on a flat earth after we just went over the stars and debunked that. You still gonna make an argument that you lost on? You lost that argument. You can't continue to make it again. So only thing you can do is be humble. Realize that you don't know everything. When you talk about flat earth, it's a good start for conspiracy. It's not a good start for conspiracy. It's the end of all conspiracies, because the globe was the biggest conspiracy. Indoctrination is things that you're given that you, at an age you weren't even able to question them. Again,
hell yes, Sanchez.
Again, none of the people in this picture in front of you can question this damn Gravitron like I'm questioning it now, making it look like a big silly ass Ferris wheel. It debunks gravity. It's a blasphemy. It's silly shit. It's stupid. It's indoctrination. And your only argument is you can't compare the two. And then we debunk that by saying we didn't compare them. Your space agency did, because they're the dumbasses. And your only thing you can say is non-scientific things. You're selling us a globe. You're saying why it's beautiful, but you're not giving us science.
Do you guys all believe that the horizon rises to eye level?
We don't believe nothing, man. We know that. We've proven it to ourselves. We waiting on you to do that shit, Josh. We waiting on you to quit asking questions like, what do you believe? And start asking real questions like, what do you know? Who cares what you believe, man? What do you know? When you showed up here, you start telling us you believe in a globe. We don't believe in flat earth. We know it's flat, man. You walk outside and see it flat every day.
Do you guys know that the horizon does not rise to eye level? Do you know that?
Okay, guess what? I'm gonna do like this, y'all. Yeah, you hold on. We're gonna do it like this, y'all. You right, Josh. The horizon does not rise to eye level, and I think you just proved that the Earth is a globe. Flat motherfucking power to you, man.
Yeah.
You won.
See, if you were smarter, you would know that. I just
see. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that. If I was smarter, I just said you won, brother. You said you asked the question. You said, "Do you guys know that the horizon don't rise to eye level?" And we said, "Yeah."
Dude, it's time to pop some champagne, man.
Yeah, you're right, man. This shit it's fun. And I say you're right. It don't rise to eye level, bro. You win. Okay, you proved us wrong.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, he still ain't talk about centrifugal force. You know what I mean? He used the time we gave him to cry. But I was waiting to hear him talk about what Shaq said about this Gravitron. Let me hear what Josh got to say about this toy called, well, I call it a toy. NASA call it science. They call it a mini demonstration, you know, of how the Earth and gravity work. That's why it's called a Gravitron. So I want to hear what Josh has to say about this device, if he even know the explanation of it. Because he said you can't even make the comparison. And that made me say, what? Don't he know why they made this and why it's called a Gravitron? Because they made the comparison. So Josh, expound on that. Talk about Gravitron. What's going on in this machine? What are they trying to teach us with this?
Okay, so if you're spinning a shoe around your head by the shoelaces, and then you let go of it at one point, and it flings off somewhere. That's what a Gravitron is. So you're like the shoe, and you're constantly getting pushed into the wall, like you're getting pushed into the direction that you're about to get flung off into. That's what's happening in a Gravitron.
Okay, so like you said, if I let go of those laces, that shoe gonna swing off, right? So now my question to you is, if that's your explanation, and the Earth is being swung around, or in this case is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, what's keeping me from being slung the hell off of it, like you just said what happened with that shoe? You can't say it's gravity, because if the spin of the Earth is pushing me to spling off of it like you just said, then what's keeping me stuck to it? This is an interesting one.
They're not comparable. Spinning a shoe around that fast is nothing like how slowly we're moving on the Earth, and gravity sticks us to.
So why did you make the damn explanation then? Did you waste our time with that? What was the point then if it's not comparable? Is it not comparable after I debunk it? Or is it just you just playing games? You made the explanation, so this is fucking...
That's what it is because you debunked it. Now it's not comparable.
Yeah.
Not to mention, the Earth is not spinning slow. It's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour.
Damn right.
The size of it is why it takes 24 hours for it to make one complete rotation. But that still isn't slow. It don't matter how big something is. If you're holding on to that shit and it's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, you're going to lose your grip and you're going to fall off that thing. So it don't matter how big they make the Gravitron. It don't matter how big they make it. It could be 24,000 miles in diameter. Just think of a big-ass Gravitron. You're still going to be stuck to the wall because it's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. You're going to be stuck to the wall either way. It don't matter how big it is.
Trying to prove gravity to the world right now. It's a theory. Remember, it's never been proven.
Let him slide on nothing.
Yeah, we can't let them slide. Every chance you get, you trying to sell the globe, you would do better every chance you get proving the globe. And I still ain't got them answers about this Gravitron. Yeah. Josh can't explain this, and I think it's really gonna keep him up tonight.
I told you how the Gravitron works. What are you saying now?
Josh, I told you how gravity works. You tried saying that scientists don't completely understand how gravity works, and I told you that's a lie because scientists do know how gravity works.
9.8 meters per second.
Hold up a minute, Josh, because you did say gravity can't be explained, but yet you explain the Gravitron. How can you do that?
Yeah, you guys are just all so crazy.
Damn.
Basically, do you know what that Large Hadron Collider is? Now you have any idea what a collider is?
You know what? It can't be explained when you debunking this shit. What Josh doing is what they all do. Like if y'all listen more than y'all talk and be humble, man, you'll see the truth.
Yeah, Josh, I was already telling you, like, how gravity works is there's two ways that gravity is made. There's two things that's needed for a gravitational pull to be effective. It's spin and mass. So you have to have a big enough mass to start attracting things to you, but it also has to have enough spin. Now, what doesn't make sense is that there's no wall. There's no wall keeping us on the Earth. So that centrifugal force should be having us fly off of it. The reason why they messed up when they made the Gravitron is because there's a wall behind you keeping you attached to it.
Exactly.
Now, if you turn it inside out, if you turn the Gravitron inside out, you're going to be flying off that thing. But they say that this is how gravity works. This is why it debunks itself.
And you know what, Shaq D? That's why originally he said it can't be explained, but then he tried to explain it. You know what? Neil deGrasse Tyson got a whole series of videos on Netflix called The Inexplicable Universe. They laughing at y'all. This shit can't be explained, man. It can't be explained. You can't explain how as we flip this shit inside out, them people won't fly off of it the faster you spin it. They're telling us gravity is a force that is the opposite. The faster you spin it, the more you stick to it. But when I get on a merry-go-round, that ain't what I experience. The crazy thing about it, this gravitron ain't going near 50 miles per hour. They telling you the Earth's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, bro.
Like he's trying to tell me 50 billion a year, and they can't explain how gravity works. That's bullshit. I call bullshit on that. 50 billion a year, they can't explain to us how gravity works, but they already did because I would know that. I don't know how I would know that, but he doesn't. So he doesn't even know the model completely fully because I knew that. I knew how gravity worked.
Oh, he left.
No, he left.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
see, we don't let him pass that first question.
Look, that's the second globalist that just left the panel when they can't make a scientific
You see how
argument.
quick that was when we didn't let him pass that first question?
Yep, and that's how you got to do it.
Yeah, shut him down, take him right off the head.
They messed up by putting a wall there.
Yeah.
And Josh
What happens
ran.
when that wall's gone?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that the horizon rises to eye level?
No, we think that if you remove this wall from this gravitron,
Your ass go flying off of that.
yeah, we ain't moving along.
You'll
We
be on the next
stand.
ride. You ain't gonna wait in line for the next ride.
I'm for the cover with the Gravitron. You ain't said nothing about the Gravitron, really.
Yeah, we ain't getting
we
past
ain't
that.
moving on to nothing.
Yeah, we're not moving on.
Do you guys think that the center of the gravitron, which is nothing, is like comparable to the center of the Earth, which is everything?
Are you asking us or NASA? They created the gravitron.
Yeah, I'm asking
Yeah.
you guys. You're right here. I'm not talking to NASA. I'm asking you guys. Do you think the center of a gravitron?
Okay, well,
is
let
the
me answer.
same
Don't
as
repeat
the
it. I
Earth?
heard it. Let me answer. Well, I'm going to answer and I'm going to let them answer. I don't think it, but NASA do. And since you're here debating the globe, I just put this up because it's talking about gravity. This is how I kind of learned about gravity. So I brought this up.
Josh, you sounding like a concave earther, bro. That would only work on a concave Earth, man.
No, I said, do you
that what
think
you
that
are?
the center of the gravitron, so that where there's nothing inside the middle of the gravitron, because you can just see the other guy, maybe there's a pole there, I don't know. Do you think the center of the gravitron is the same thing as the entire Earth?
I said,
Well, what's
Because
the center?
that's how it's not comparable. That's what you're trying to compare.
Anyway, what's the center of the Earth, Josh? Like, what's in the center of the Earth? If you want to talk about the center of the Gravitron, then what's the center of the Earth?
I never said the center of the Earth. What we're trying to compare is
So then
the
what are you
entire
bringing up
Earth.
the center of the Gravitron for then? Why are you bringing up the center of the Gravitron? If you're not talking about
you're right, actually. Just all the space between everyone on the Gravitron is the same as the entire Earth.
The point is that the Gravitron has a wall. The Earth doesn't have a wall. So what's keeping us from flying off the Earth? And don't say gravity, because I already explained to you 1,000 times how gravity works.
No, but it is gravity. That's the whole. That's this whole thing, and that's why I'm asking you that question. You're saying that the space between all of us on the gravitron is the same as the entire Earth, and that's what you're trying to say, and that doesn't make any sense.
Physics, the physics, Josh, the physics of it don't make sense. That's the point. The physics don't change just because the size changes. The physics stay the same.
So you do think that the empty space between you and the gravitron is the same as the entire Earth?
The physics of it, how the physics work. You understand how physics work, right?
Well, yeah, to some sort of degree.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what the size is. It stays the same. It doesn't matter how big or small something is. The physics will never change.
But what I'm saying is that the all of the mass of the entire Earth, that's creating the gravity which is sticking us to the Earth. That's how I'm saying we're not flung off it due to the centrifugal force.
Okay. So my question is, large mass is what creates gravity. That's what you said?
No, that's the Earth, and apparently every single particle has a little bit of gravity in it.
That wasn't my question. You said all of the mass of the Earth is what keeps us stuck to it. My question is based on that. Is something just have to be big and massive for it to create gravitational pull?
Yeah, that seems to be the go.
Okay, so if I got real big and I blew myself up bigger than the Earth, would an Earth star orbiting around me?
Yes.
Okay.
Did before the Big Bang.
Huh?
So that
Thank you for saying that.
Say that
that's
again.
the real problem. Gravity existed before the Big Bang. Basically, what caused the Big Bang was, so all these particles were bunched together. So it was this very small thing, smaller than an atom, way smaller. And there was heat, and because it was so dense, it still had gravity to it. And it started heating up and just heating and heating and heating. And it got so hot to the point that it popped. And this is what created the universe. So according to them, the universe is still expanding. And they're even saying, which makes no sense, but they're saying that eventually the universe will stop expanding and it will start contracting. That makes no sense according to them, because in space, in a vacuum, you can't change direction unless there's a force that changes it. But space is supposed to be a vacuum, so I don't know what would cause it to start contracting. So that's where they mess themselves up.
And you're right too, because with this whole argument about something just being big and it can attract other objects to it.
It's not just mass, it's mass and spin. It has to be spinning and it has to have mass.
So if I can suspend one of those mountains, and I'm here in Nevada, and I can give it some spin, it'll start attracting all of the buildings and the cars and all of that to it.
Yeah, it should.
And you know, that's so crazy, because if that was true and I can pick a mountain up and start spinning it, it'll actually push shit away from it, because the wind from it will push it away from it.
If you take a tennis ball and you spin it and throw it in the air, but you dunked it in water, that water should be sticking to it because it's spinning and it does have mass. So it should have enough mass to at least keep one single droplet of water on it, but that doesn't happen. The whole ball goes dry.
That's true.
Exactly.
And this is simple stuff, Josh. What you got to say about it?
Well, now you're trying to compare a tennis ball to the size of the Earth.
Yes, because everything, the only thing that makes up gravity is mass and spin. And I've gave you an example of something that has mass and something that has spin.
Well, Shaq, let me deal with it for a minute,
The spin thing's irrelevant. No one says that gravity has to have spin.
Brother, if you're gonna sit here and say gravity don't have to have spin, then what the fuck did you just do a minute ago when you started explaining the Gravitron? It does have spin. That's what make it the Gravitron. What are we doing, man? Josh is trolling us, man. This man trolling, man. Come on now.
There's no one knows anything.
But now because I've told him that scientists do understand how gravity works. Now it's irrelevant how gravity works. Now it's irrelevant.
Yeah, he just said spin don't got nothing to do with gravity, but he just used spin to prove it. You've been so inconsistent on here.
Yes, that's fucking.
Any mass has a gravity all by itself. You can use a centrifugal force to create like an artificial nature of gravity. That's what a gravitron is.
Okay, so if that's what a gravitron doing, what we're saying is you will have to flip it inside out to do the experiment right, because we don't live on the inside of the earth but on the surface. Shaq said that earlier. You didn't deal with it, yet you're still gonna run with the idea that the gravitron is correct, but yet you're arguing against the shit too. Like you on both sides. So It's like at one minute I'm dealing with Josh the globalist, and on the other hand I'm dealing with Josh the damn flat earther. You know what? We're gonna have a lot of people be converted to flat earthers the moment humans are able to allow themselves to be wrong in public. That's the globalist problem. A lot of shit we saying here, Josh know in his heart is right, man. He ain't no dummy.
He's sitting there like, damn, they're right.
Yeah, man, but he can't say it on public. Like,
yeah, it's like, damn, that's weak, man.
So, do you guys believe in the Big Bang then?
oh no, you do. So we brought up the argument. Nope, that's all.
No, I don't. Look,
The Big Bang is just the best guess so far.
Josh, the Big Bang is not the best guess so far because there's so many things about the Big Bang that don't make sense. What they're trying to do with CERN is they're trying to recreate the Big Bang. But the problem is that every time they cut particles into each other, they just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. They don't find an end to it. They still haven't been able to recreate it. That's the issue. So even your top scientists
can't recreate it
1,000 times, but they still want to say that the Big Bang is the best guess possible.
So why are you going to believe something you can't recreate?
I'm happy with the fact that the smartest guys in the world with the most expensive equipment in the world are trying to figure out what's going on with our universe. And I'm happy to believe in those guys.
Wait a second.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You know I had to unmute on that one. I'm sorry. Are you happy with the chemtrails and the vaccinations and all of that too?
Exactly.
No, I tried to say before, I think there's a lot of funny stuff going on in this world. I'm a conspiracy guy. But this is the flat earth thing. It's not a good conspiracy because the earth is a sphere.
But listen, that's your problem. We're not conspiracy guys, Josh. We're truthers, man.
Truth seekers, boy.
Thank you. I think your problem is you hold up, stop. You're not gonna tell me what the hell I am on my show.
Exactly. You
now listen. Thank you, because right then you messing up big time. You just said you're a conspiracy theorist. I didn't argue with you. You go on with your conspiracy theories. I said we're truthers. You're not gonna tell me what I am. I didn't do it with you. You said you're a conspiracy theorist, not me. The globe is a conspiracy theory. It's actually not even, it's a conspiracy and a theory. It's both of those. If he say we haven't been to the southern hemisphere to see the stars, therefore we don't know what we're talking about and the earth is a globe, I want to know why in school when I was coming up learning about this globe, they didn't teach me that. They didn't tell me I had to go to the southern hemisphere to learn this shit. They had me in a classroom. If everybody had to do that to learn it was a globe, then I don't think, it'll be a lot of globalists.
Yeah, why don't they have us go, why don't they just have free trips to space? I mean, $50 billion a year, I think they could afford to send us into space to see if it's true or not.
Yeah, or at least one that's not a NASA employee. I mean, there's simple solutions to this shit, and they won't do it. Why?
Funniest thing,
funniest man. Listen, I knew it.
Off the planet.
I knew he was gonna go there. That's why I tried to get in right after you, Bo. I knew what you was doing. See that? I saw his mic go from unmute as soon as he was like, yes, off of the centrifugal force. Yes,
yeah, I know exactly what you're doing.
Because he keep bringing up these southern stars, but I think what he's not getting is our whole centrifugal force argument debunks the globe. He's trying to prove the globe with the stars, and we're taking him back to centrifugal force for the argument.
Exactly. So just to be clear, your centrifugal argument is why don't people get flung off the planet? Because it's rotating so quickly. That's the argument.
The argument was what Shaq D said. The gravitron is inaccurate. The gravitron is a hoax. Because like Shaq said, you will have to flip this inside out. We're not inside of the earth. Like Shaq said, this would be a good concave earth argument. This would actually help the concave earth. But if we living on the surface of a sphere, you will have to flip this inside out, and that would be a merry-go-round. And I've been on one before. The faster it go, the more tighter you got to hold on to keep from flinging off of it. It's a very good argument. If you're on the surface of a ball that's spinning, how do you stay stuck to it? That would be the opposite. You should fling off of it. So the gravitron works against their argument because it's disingenuous. They will have to flip it inside out and put us on the surface and spin it. And you know we would fly the hell off if that happens. So it kind of debunks gravity. It explains why gravity is just a theory. Because of all of these arguments, we're able to make that debunk it, brother. Facts.
You can't argue with that.
Josh, what you need to worry about is getting over the hurt that truth causes. Because when I was first coming into this shit, I was cocky, Josh. I thought it was going to be easy to debunk. And I had to slow my roll like, you know what? The joke's on me. All they gave me was theories, and science is based on facts. That's why you're having a hard time, Josh. Because we got facts, man. The moment you cross over to where we at, you may get laughed at by the status quo because that science is proven with consensus and numbers. This science is proven with nature and facts. And I'm going to tell you right now, this gravitron really whooped your ass tonight.
And the truth don't give a damn about your feelings.
It sure don't. Hey.
I think you guys are going to be really sad in the future as there's just more and more space travel and more space exploration. You're going to realize just how crazy all this just
yeah, you're going to realize, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, Josh. Check this out, Josh. Check this out, Josh. Check this out, brother. Check this out. Hold on.
Then go to the southern hemisphere.
Josh,
and
stop,
have a look
Josh.
at the stars.
Stop.
That's all you got.
Hold on. When you have a chance to talk about the gravitron. You're doing a horrible job, man. All of us travel. You don't know us like that. Stop getting personal. And I don't mean to keep cutting.
I already told you about the gravitron. You're trying to say that the inside nothingness of the gravitron is the same as the mass of the entire Earth.
That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say you got to flip it inside out in order for it to be an accurate description of what we live on. We don't live inside the Earth.
No, that's not how it works. Gravity doesn't work by spinning. That's not how gravity works.
So you need to be teaching this to NASA then.
No one knows how gravity works.
Okay, so then.
It seems to be that mass attracts mass.
Okay, you know what?
NASA's wrong. NASA is wrong, is what you're saying, right, Josh? You're saying NASA is wrong on how gravity works.
It's got the answers.
I really don't even know what you're talking about. NASA wrong. You're saying they endorsed this gravitron or something.
It's circular arguments, you know. And he's talking about, for his argument, we just need to travel and go around the Earth. You know, I was in the military. I've been around the Earth. I travel. So if that's your argument, it's pathetic, bro.
He says we're gonna all go to space, but you know we haven't really made any progress. So.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing about that. This is what you don't understand, Josh. The day they put me in a rocket and send me into space, then I'll believe in the globe. Spins no way. I'm a flat earther because there's more proof for that.
Josh, I want to talk to you about gravity some more. I do got some more questions for you. You saying it can't be explained, but yet you've been explaining it the past hour. And it's like every time you say it can't be explained is when we debunk it. When we telling you it's inexplicable. That's why we're debunking it.
Well, all I'm trying to say is that, yeah, of course, no one knows how it works, but we know the effects of what it does. That's why gravity is so mysterious.
So NASA don't know how it works?
Sorry. I think I just muted someone. It was an accident.
No,
I'm so sorry.
My question is, does NASA know how gravity works? Yes or no?
No. No one knows how gravity works. We know the effects.
So my question is this. Does National Geographic know how gravity works?
You mean like the magazine?
Yes.
No. No one knows how gravity works.
So you do know that they got a bunch of documentaries and magazines on gravity teaching us about it? You do know that Neil deGrasse Tyson got a lecture on gravity on Netflix, and all you got to do is go on Google and put in gravity documentary. So when you say no one knows, I'm trying to ask, are all these documentaries and all this shit that they've been giving us since we was children been a lie? It's been a lie?
No, it's just been the best guess so far. That's what someone brought up
Oh
CERN
man.
before. That's what
Oh
they're
my
trying
God.
to do over
Stop,
there. They're
stop,
trying to
stop, stop,
smash up
stop.
particles
Stop, brother.
and find.
Stop, stop, please.
Okay.
If you could make your answer very short, because you do a horrible job. What happens is you try to run into something else. We ain't gonna talk about CERN. We're gonna keep talking about gravity. When you talk about a best guess, that's not scientific. I laugh at these best guessing ass scientists. That's not science where I'm from. Anybody on the panel, is that science where y'all from?
It's not science at all.
Yeah, you know, this best guessing thing. And even
Yeah,
globalists.
Science is a verb. It's not a noun.
Yeah, and the verb that you take can't just be a damn best guess. In that case, every last one of us scientists, every last one of y'all in the chat, y'all scientists. My kids are scientists. If all you got to do is make a best guess, then shit, anybody can be a scientist. Why they getting all the money? I don't get this. He said nobody know about gravity. All they can do is take our money and make best guesses and make documentaries and movies explaining hour after hour some shit that this guy just said is inexplicable. I don't get this, man. Are they deceivers then? Josh, can you at least give us that? Are they some evil ass deceivers? Because if I listen to you and you say gravity can't be explained, and I'm on Google right now and I'm showing all these documentaries about gravity, you telling me it can't be explained. Can I call Nat Geo, NASA, and all of these scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson evil ass liars based on what you said because they're explaining something that you said is inexplicable? Can we do that then and I feel a little better?
So, like I said, gravity, the effects of it can be explained, but what actually causes it can't be explained. To our best guess so far, it's mass attracts mass.
Hold on. I can rewind the video right now. You said gravity can't be explained, brother. I'm telling you, I got good memory. You said gravity can't be explained, and you said it twice, matter of fact. I'm telling you a fact now. Now, can
I stand by that. Gravity, what causes gravity can't be explained. No one knows what causes gravity. It seems to be, best guess so far, something to do with mass attracting mass, but no one knows why that happens. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to smash
okay. So listen. So all right, stop. So if gravity is your guess that huge objects attract more mass to them because they're big, right? In a nutshell. Let's simplify stuff for the people, please. If you agree with that, just say yes or no.
No.
So I'm just rephrasing what you're saying. In other words, hold on.
Mass attracts mass.
Oh man. Does it matter what size of the mass is what I'm saying? If it's a larger mass, won't it have a stronger pull in this case?
Yes.
Okay. So in your guess about this gravity, what keeps us stuck to the earth is because the earth's so much bigger than us that it's pulling us toward it because it's a bigger mass, right?
Yes.
All right. So shouldn't the sun be pulling us off of the earth since it's huger than the earth?
No, because the sun is 150 million kilometers away.
Okay, but it's able to pull the whole earth toward it now. They said that the earth, since the sun's so big, that the earth orbit the sun. And you telling me that the sun that powerful that it can have a big ass earth orbited, but it ain't put me off of it? Because it's far away?
At the scale that we're talking about, we are the Earth. We're we're trees. There's probably more trees on the Earth than we are. All
right. Got you, brother. I got you. So is gravity responsible for pulling all of that water in the ocean toward the ground and keeping the oceans from flying off into quote unquote space? Is that gravity that's keeping the ocean stuck to this baller?
Yes.
All right. And it's so strong, right, that it's able to keep all of these trillion gallons of water stuck to this ball. It's that strong, correct?
Yes.
So why then does bubbles in the ocean break the law of gravity by rising right to the surface and going back right up into the air? I mean, think about it. Gravity pulls all this water toward the center of the earth, but yet it let the bubbles just do what they want. Why don't it pull the bubbles too, and the clouds too, and the birds too, if it's that strong? Otherwise, it's just a theory like they say, and it's full of crap.
Everything is always, all the time, being pulled to the center of the earth because the earth is so big.
Except for bubbles in the water. If the bubble in the water is being pulled toward the center of the earth, why don't I see it going down to the bottom? I see bubbles in the ocean when I go in the ocean and swim. When we talk, the bubbles break the law of gravity. Hold on. Let me try not to laugh. Hold on. When I'm under the water at the beach, man, what I'm saying is if you say that gravity pulls everything to the middle of the earth and that is that strong, all of this water, right? But yet when I'm talking under the water, it don't pull my air bubbles. That's lighter than the water. It should be, every time I talk, them bubbles ought to go toward the ground, not toward the surface of the water, if what you're saying is true.
But you know that the bubble is the absence of water. So it's pulling all the water down behind that little absence of water, and it's the absence of water which is going up. You know that, right? You couldn't. You know what a bubble underwater is.
You didn't answer my question. I know what the hell a bubble is. You deflecting. My question, what I don't know, is why gravity is not able to pull it down. You said out of your mouth, brother, that gravity pulls everything to the center of the earth. I said except for bubbles under the water. Explain to me why gravity isn't strong enough to pull these bubbles down like it's doing the water. Why is gravity selective? Why doesn't it pull helium balloons and bubbles down, but you telling me it's strong enough to pull all of this water down? It's a good question, and I'm not being funny. I want to know.
Well, I explained it before. It's because it's the bubble's creating an absence of water, and the water wants to fill that space. So if the water's being pulled down to gravity, while the bubble, that's not anything. That's just a little pocket of air, and that wants to join all the other air, and so that's what's happening.
That's called density. Density, what you just explained was density, but it goes against the law of gravity. Gravity states that everything is being pulled to the center of the earth. The key word about that definition is the first word of it, everything. It don't give an explanation for why some things can break the law. And when you do that, it explains why gravity is not a fact, is only a theory that exists in your mind. Because what exists is the fact that you just explained. That's called density. Density says that nothing falls, everything sinks. When you deal with density, it states that everything in nature is organized based on its own simple weight. And all it needs is a medium to organize itself. So in a nutshell, what I mean is this. Like you said, air rises up because air is situated in a particular place in our cosmos. Heavier objects sink, lighter objects float. It's that simple. If you take this law and put it in water, you'll see that a pebble will sink, but oxygen will float. And that's because this gas called oxygen, when it's in a gas form, is lighter than H2O when it's in a water form. Therefore, nature separates things naturally. That's not gravity. That's a fact called density. Helium is lighter than oxygen. So helium will rise. You can have helium balloons. So helium is actually lighter than the air particles or the oxygen particles. So helium will float. So air is lighter than water particles. So you can put air inside of a ship and the ship will float because the law of nature states that these elements are situated in particular places in the cosmos. So like you said, air will find where it's situated at. Everything organizes itself in nature and there's balance. But that isn't what gravity explains. We just explained density. According to gravity, everything is just pulled to the center of the earth. And that's why it's not a fact, because the problems we mentioned now.
Straight facts right there, for sure.
Not to mention, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, it's not being pulled down, it's being pushed down.
So it's a lot working against gravity, man. The spin of the earth, the core, the compass. Because if the magnetism point to the north, but they telling us that the core is pulling everything to the center. If there was a magnetic core, how would a compass point? The needle would just bend in like it'll point into the earth. But all compasses point to the center of the earth.
Yeah, because according to them, the core is what makes the earth magnetic in the first place. That's because of the core.
I mean,
so I don't understand.
That's why they have the whole joke.
Pointing in.
So that's why they kind of have the joke, you can dig to China, right?
Yeah, think about that. You can dig to China. If you think about that, right? If I start digging right now in my backyard and I just keep on digging and digging and digging, I'll be on the other side of the earth. But would I still be facing downward with my shovel? Think about it. When I come out the other side of the earth, will I be looking down at the sky with my shovel? Will I flip around all of a sudden? How would that work? That debunks the globe right there. The fact that you say I can dig out the other side, when I get out there and I peek through the surface of the other side, I'ma still be looking down at the sky. It won't make sense. That means when I climb up from the ground, I'm looking down, and when I get up there, what, I'ma just flip around and change my perspective like the other people down there? It don't make sense.
Yeah, what they're saying how it would work is, the best way to explain it, it was in the movie Total Recall, the newer one, not the old one. So think of a big elevator, all right, and this elevator isn't attached to any wires. It's just falling. And we're in this elevator, it's going to drop down to the core. Once it reaches the core, there's zero gravity. Gravity in the core. And once you get to the other side of the core, then the gravity flips.
But then again, that goes back to the magnetic south argument. If you're going to say that, it goes right back to that. The compasses don't point magnetic south. So then you got to go back and deal with that again. It's a horrible day today for the globe. Because this argument...
That's just because you've actually said nothing to debunk anything that I've said.
Oh my God.
You can't explain the stars, and I'd love to talk about the horizon rising to high level.
We've done the legwork, man. What are you talking about? Come on.
You know what, man? I'm tired.
Josh, we're not moving on until you can make at least one good point. Until you can make at least one good point, we ain't moving on to shit.
The southern stars, none of you guys can explain what's going on, and I don't think you understand the problem. And you just gotta get over this hurdle.
I think that's his 7th time repeating that without proving it. You see, I learned some about globalists. I found this out about globalists, that they can't really prove their arguments, so they just keep repeating what they believe. Like when I talk to a lot of Christians, they can't really prove to me the existence of Christ. So what they end up doing is keep on saying to me, hey man, Jesus is real. He's real, man. Jesus is real, bro. I'm telling you, he's real. And they think by keep repeating it, repetition, it make it a fact. And really, that's how the lie was created, by repetition and forcing it into people, beating it into slaves, having them keep repeating it. That's indoctrination. The first solar system resembled a hypnotization spiral. This stuff was indoctrinated into people. It's repetitive. And when they come up here, they sound like a tape recorder. It's almost sad to hear them do it. It's like a psychosis or something.